One Piece chapter 1025 is here, y'all, and with that chapter we got a couple of things we need to talk about. We have Kaido's race, Luffy showing up at the very end, and then the whole Yamato versus Kaido. So without further ado, let's just get right into it. Real quick though, if you guys are new here, my name is Sai, and the way this works is that I talk about the beginning of the chapter and then we discuss it and make our way onto the end of the chapter. So now, let's kick it off. So if you guys recall in chapter 1023, we ended off with this beautiful double panel spread of Momonosuke in his dragon form standing in front of Luffy, and it looks like they're ready to go kick some Kaido butt. But that is when you get to this week's chapter, and Momonosuke is still afraid of heights. He doesn't want to go up there, and it makes a lot of sense because just because he's aged 20 plus years doesn't mean he's mentally aged that much as well. I think from a comedic standpoint, it's really well done. I just love the fact that we pan to Shinobu and Law's crew, and they're just kind of baffled by the whole situation. It's like, oh wow, Momonosuke's aged 20 years, he's this grown freaking man, he's a giant dragon that looks like Kaido, and he's still afraid of heights. But thankfully, this gets resolved pretty quickly by the next time we see them. I think the next panel we see them, they're actually already in the air. But yeah, now that Momonosuke is in his adult body and his adult dragon form, I'm actually curious as to what the anime will do once we hit this point. Will they actually keep the kid Momonosuke voice actor or grown-up Momonosuke? And the main reason I'm asking this is because I'm having slight PTSD flashbacks of Bleach's Hueco Mundo arc, where Neliel turned into an adult, but for some reason still had the voice of a kid. Unfortunately though, for better or worse, I feel like giving adult Momonosuke a kid's voice might be a good gag, so they might actually go with that. And if they gave Chopper a kid's body with an old man voice, then why wouldn't they do this to Momonosuke as well? But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter because that's just a very nuanced point. So moving on, we have Yamato versus Kaido, which is, I want to say, a good 80% of this chapter, which isn't a bad thing, but the fact that they're focusing so much on Yamato's fight right here makes me, I'm even more sure that Yamato is going to become a Nakama by the end of this arc, more so than ever. So we pick up the fight pretty much where we left off from last week's chapter, and Yamato does end up taking a little bit of damage from that clash, albeit she does just start shedding off some of her skin because she puts some kind of protective barrier around her face. Really, there's no good way to explain why or how this is happening, but it's her mythical devil fruit, and we'll just kind of roll with it. It kind of reminds me of what Gaara did when he was fighting Rock Lee, where he kind of coated himself in sand, and when he took damage, it was actually just hitting the sand instead. So yeah, Yamato sheds her protective barrier shield thing, and then she goes full on blitz mode on Kaido. Like I saw this, and I was so shocked by how strong Yamato is. He actually jumped up in the sky, slammed his head down into the ground, and I'm just baffled by this, right? Like I just don't know what the freak is happening. Once Yamato joins the crew, I always knew that she would be just so strong, and I was like, where am I gonna put her? You know, I have Luffy up here, then Zoro and Sanji, maybe Yamato in between them. This almost solidifies the fact that Yamato is going to be the second strongest person in the crew. Until Zoro and Sanji get some more feats, which I'm sure they will, right? Like, they're still gonna fight King and Queen, and I'm sure they're gonna get massive power-ups during those fights. But as of right now, as of chapter 1025, I can pretty much say with full confidence that Yamato is OP as hell. She is number 2. And that's insane to think about, right? Like, Yamato, this character that we just got introduced to, power crept the entire Straw Hat crew. And it's insane. But yeah, Yamato's fighting Kaido, and this is when Kaido goes full on beast mode. He starts getting, I wouldn't say he's getting upset, but he starts thinking about Yamato, and he's like, oh, you brat, how dare you do this? You're a proud Oni. And he just kind of starts rambling on about how he's killed pretty much all of Yamato's friends. Kaido might not be the best dad. I don't know what's possessing me to say that, but I'm just going to take a shot in the dark and say that Kaido's not winning any awards for being father of the year. So yeah, Kaido starts making remarks about how Yamato has no friends and how he pretty much killed all of them, how Ace is dead, how the person that gave her food is also dead. Like, Kaido is going out of his way to just destroy Yamato's life. On one note, I'm like, maybe Kaido's like, maybe this is a form of tough love that I'm just not too familiar with. But if you think about it, Yamato has done pretty much everything little of killing Yamato himself. And this leads me to believe that there's some small portion of Kaido that just loves Yamato, and he's actually doing this so Yamato can become a strong, proud Oni warrior. But, obviously Yamato's instead just developed feelings of hatred towards him. But that being said, we do get a crazy revelation that Kaido is an Oni, and Yamato is also an Oni, or at least has Oni blood running through her veins. I think Yamato's personally half human, half Oni, but until we see the flashback, I'm not too sure. But all I have to say is I freaking knew it. I go back to last week's chapter. I was like, dude, I feel like Kaido is not human. I feel like this man is an Oni. I feel like Onigashima and Wano has some crazy meaning behind it. Oh, there's a reason why Kaido came here. And in this chapter, reading this chapter and getting this revelation, I feel so freaking vindicated, you have no idea. There had to be a reason as to why Kaido wanted to stay in Wano, why he wanted to bring the skull of Onigashima to Wano Kuni to make that the capital. I knew it. There was no reason for Kaido to be this crazy maniacal guy that just wants to rule over this random land. There had to be a reason why he enslaved these people, why he's tormenting these people, and why he made the factories here. And it all makes sense. Although we didn't get like a full revelation, we know that there's some ulterior motive to be had here. We start to catch these small glimpses of why Kaido is the way he is. He mentions to Yamato that we must rule over these humans, we stand above them. And that makes so much sense as to why he doesn't mind enslaving people, why he's making people wear his freaking Oni horns. His entire crew has these Oni horns. And I was like, why is this a thing? Like, does he just like the devil? Because, it's a cool aesthetic, but it makes sense when you think about it now. If you really wanted to look deep into this, you can even tie this as to why Kaido prefers Zoan Devil Fruits above all the other ones. It's because he's not human. He doesn't want people to be human. And it's even crazy when you think far back into it. Like, how long has Oda been planning this out? Because when we first heard about Kaido, we learned that he was the strongest creature. He's not a person. Whitebeard was the strongest pirate. Freaking Kaido should have that title, or at least be up there, but no, he's the strongest creature instead. And now it all makes sense. And we even had a little bit of foreshadowing on Big Mom's Whole Cake Island, when she says that she's missing 3 races of people, and now we know what those races are. We have Kaido, which is an Oni, we have the Lunarias, and then we also have the Giants, so it even clears up that mystery as well. So with Big Mom forming her alliance with Kaido, she technically killed 2 birds with 1 stone. She has the Lunarian, and she also has an Oni now. And this almost further promotes the idea that Kaido and King might be the last of their races. Because if not, then Big Mom would have went to any other Oni or any other Lunarian and just recruited them under her wing. But instead, she decided to partner with Kaido, not just to get the One Piece, but to also achieve her dream, which is to have one of each race under her wing. So now that we can prove that Kaido and Yamato might be the last of their race, now the real question is, what happened to the Onis and why are they almost extinct? And I feel like if I had to fan-craft a theory here, I want to say that the samurai of Wano Kuni and the Onis of Onigashima were once really good friends. And then the samurai betrayed the Onis at some point, and that is why Kaido is now seeking revenge upon them. That is why he is bringing the head of Onigashima to Wano Kuni to destroy their capital and take over Wano. But that's enough of my crazy fan theories. So while Kaido's talking about all this, he is constantly beating Yamato down, who is on the ground with his Kanabo. It is, oh my gosh, characters. There have been multiple characters throughout this arc that have been ready, prepped, they saw the Kanabo coming, they blocked it and everything. Kinemon had his sword up, ready to take the impact of the Kanabo, and they did not make it past a single hit. Yamato has taken many hits, and Yamato is taking those hits while on the ground. And somehow, by the end of this chapter, she is still able to land a decent blow on him and smile with Luffy. That is a feat. That is a durability feat through and through. But before we get to that final part, the next part of the chapter is also pretty dang comedic. We cut back to Momonosuke and Luffy. Momonosuke is flying through Onigashima. He has his eyes closed because, like I said, he's afraid of heights. And they're crashing through all the floors. And everybody can see this. You have Zoro, Sanji, Queen, King, who doesn't say anything. Big Mom wondering what the hell is going on. You see Law, who knows exactly what's going on. He's like, Luffy, like, he's like the only person that really saw him. He's like, oh my god, like some crazy stuff is about to happen again. But yes, you get everybody's reaction, and then you have Kaido's reaction. And this is the best part, because Yamato is back in her base form. She's no longer hybrid form, and she's about to go in for an attack that normally wouldn't land. Luffy goes in for a Gear 4 Snakeman, and even though he has the speed of the Culverine and the Snake mode, this is normally an attack that wouldn't really land on Kaido. But Kaido is so baffled by seeing another dragon that looks just like him that he just loses focus for a minute, right? Like, you see it in the panel. He has like the question mark in his bubble, and he's just like, what, a dragon? Like, what is going on here? And then Yamato goes in for a mighty swing, and Luffy goes in for an epic freaking Snakeman Culverine. And dude, I honestly thought the chapter was gonna end right there. I was like, this is a beautiful double page spread. You have Yamato, seeing Luffy and smiling right after Kaido said that she has no friends. And then Luffy's like, oh, it's Yamato, like, how's it going? I thought that was the end of the chapter. And then we get a really cool panel where we see Kaido face to face. For some reason, he decided to goes into his dragon form, essentially to confirm that he still has his Devil Fruit. Like, it's almost like he's like, wait, is Blackbeard here? Did he steal my Devil Fruit? Like, when did this happen? How is this happening? And he turns into dragon form, and he looks at Momonosuke, and he's like, who the hell are you? Like, what is going on here? And this is where we get some freaking epic panels, man. We have Luffy standing atop of Momonosuke, like freaking arms crossed and everything. Luffy has this cape on, which I hope he keeps for the rest of the series. And my man is looking like the freaking Pirate King right now. Like, you cannot tell me that Luffy does not look like the Pirate King in this panel. Like, it's crazy. Momonosuke, comically, he's pretty scared because he sees Kaido right in front of him. And Luffy answers by saying he is the man that will be the king of the pirates. And Momonosuke, essentially tacking on Luffy's confidence, says, I am Kozuki Momonosuke. I rewatched Wano a couple times by this point. And that scene where Kaido's holding Momonosuke by the throat during, on that fiery castle that night he killed everybody, essentially. And he asks Momonosuke, who is he? And that is when Momonosuke essentially takes the coward's way out. He can't say anything. He's afraid. He's scared. And this is him essentially tackling that fear, saying, I am Kozuki Momonosuke. That is me. And it's awesome. Because he's no longer that crybaby anymore. He is, I wouldn't say he's like a grown man, but physically he is, and it's impressive, man. It's a feat in and of itself. It is a feat in and of itself. He is going to be the Shogun of Wano. Luffy is going to be the Pirate King. And then you have Yamato there, who's pretty much just hyped to be around these people, right? And then this is when we get the final panel where Kaido says, there can't be two dragons up here, there can't be two of us anymore. Like, one of us is gonna have to go down, Brad. Like, it's really cool, man. And it's crazy because I didn't think about this beforehand, but I was reading the Reddit comments and somebody mentioned that Kaido has been fighting non-stop this entire raid, right? Like, he fought the Scabbards, he fought the Generation, he fought Luffy, he's fought Yamato, and now he has to fight a 3v1. Kaido is a monster. Like no, hands down, Kaido is the strongest character we've met thus far. I honestly think that if Kaido were to fight Akainu, he would just win. Like, Whitebeard fought him and he did pretty good against him, right? Imagine Kaido fighting him. Like, I can't see Sakazuki coming out on top. Kaido is an absolute monster, and I cannot wait until we learn more about him. I can't wait till we learn about his backstory and what happened with the Oni race. But yeah, with that being said, it was a pretty straightforward chapter. I just wanted to talk about it pretty quick. What do you guys think about it? What was your takeaway from it? So the main questions I want to leave with you guys on this week's chapter is, where would you place Yamato's ranking within the Straw Hats? Would you put her above Zoro, right below Luffy? Or would you put her below Zoro or below Sanji? And why? And if so, do you think that Zoro and Sanji will outshine Yamato by the end of this arc? But yeah, with that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching until this point of the video. This might be a little bit shorter than my other videos, but that's solely because there's a lot of fighting going on and there's not a lot to explain when that happens, right? Like, what am I gonna say? He's punching left, he's punching right. It's looking pretty cool. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's a great chapter. I love the revelations. I love learning that Kaido is an Oni and that I was actually a little bit right on that regard. But yeah, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below, and I will see you guys in 2 weeks. There is no chapter next week. There is going to be a break, which I can't even complain since we got 4 chapters in a row. But I will probably make a One Piece video nonetheless. And that's pretty much it, y'all. See ya.